Welcome back to Communication for Life. Today on my channel we're going to be doing a thrift store haul. So I have a student, like I was telling you in a previous video, that's working on picture matching. So I wanted to work on finding ways to expand that goal beyond the materials that I'd already found and created for her. So when I was at a local thrift store, I'm in Central Florida, and I found a children's resale store in Winter Haven. It's called Mother Goose Resale. And I went through, and it's kind of a hole in the wall. It's next to a Salvation Army, and you really have to pick your way through it because they have a lot of stuff there. So I ended up finding two kind of similar activities, hands-on. My first picture pairs, kind of like a matching game. And then for some reason it's called mini jigs. I've never heard this term before, but it's very simple color matching two-piece puzzles. So I went through and counted it. If you've shopped thrift before, you know that you need to double check before you buy anything, especially something like this that has a ton of little pieces. I would be super cautious. I would stop and make sure I counted everything and compared it to what the box says is supposed to be in there, and it was correct. I checked it. Same thing with this one. I stood at the counter, I opened it, and I counted every single card to make sure that there were 54 cards. So that way I could be sure that I was getting what I paid for. So those are the first two things that I picked up. The next two things I picked up were these. I'm just going to take a look to make sure that I'm in frame. So these are really simple toddler toys, but what I want to use these for is for my PEX basket, or picture exchange system. I've been to a PEX training, but it's difficult to implement the system exactly, since I don't have an assistant or a partner that is always available with me to implement the program with students. So right now I'm using kind of like a modified picture exchange, which I posted a picture of on my Facebook this week, of a blue binder with lots of icons, and then my pink basket with all my corresponding objects. So when I found these, I took them home. You can see this one is by Sassy. Sassy products almost always have the black and white, so that's how you can tell. And this is just a rattle, really simple. And then this one was unique because it is a tambourine. It does make sounds, but it also has a mirror, which I thought was really interesting. So I went ahead and grabbed those. I ran them through my dishwasher. And then when I got home, I looked them up online, trying to get you guys in frame here. And I made, there's one, I made my icons to go with each object. So whenever I buy a new toy, I will often go ahead and make corresponding icons so that I can start to use them immediately. So I'm excited to add these to my basket. Try to change things up a lot so that I don't have the students getting satiated on one thing. Always keep it interesting. The next thing that I wanted to share is a haul from, where were these from? These were from Bell's Outlet. I went with my husband and my mother-in-law after we did a family event. I got two things at Bell's Outlet. Again, I'm just going to get up and check to see that we're in frame. So on the left we have a Melissa and Doug Chunky Puzzle Shapes, and on the right we have another Melissa and Doug product. I'm a huge fan. These are the Water Wow, which are getting pretty popular now because they're mess-free, and they have a lot of different ones. I also saw transportation, I've seen animals, I've seen princess, pirate, all kinds of different stuff. So I'm going to talk about these two items a little more in depth. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the Water Wow. So I took out the cards. I'm going to come closer to the camera so you can see. So it has different categories. It has colors. They all look like that. Then it goes into shapes, the basic shapes. And then at the end, the numbers 1 through 10. So it comes with a clip. You can keep them all together like that. And then it also comes with the pen. So all you do is unscrew this top part, fill it with water, and put it inside the pen. Now I've never done this before, so this is kind of like a live on camera experiment to see if maybe I'm not doing it right. Oh, there we go. It just takes a minute. Took a little longer time than I expected, but just goes to show you we have to have patience. So when we put the water over this card, we reveal a red parrot. So you can do a lot of different things with this. I had thought of it initially for student engagement for those hard to reach students. I thought they would find it very novel and very interesting, more exciting than the usual toys that I have. So I wanted to go ahead and give this a try. You can keep refilling the pen over and over again. And according to the packaging, you've got reusable shape, number, and color flashcards, refillable water pen. Color with water, let it dry, and color again. So I'm going to bring it even closer so you can kind of see some examples of what's inside. And once it dries, I assume it goes back to white, and then you can color it again. So I'm going to put this to the side, and we'll check back in later on in the video to see how it changes. Put that over to the side. The next thing that I wanted to talk about is the Melissa and Doug Chunky Puzzle. I have several of these. I have Bugs, I have the Farm, I have a few other ones of the Melissa and Doug Chunky Puzzles. For this one, what I went ahead and did was I created a Boardmaker Online. Let's see if you can get it to focus there on the computer screen. A Boardmaker Online overlay to go with it.
I want the circle. I want the diamond. I want the oval.
As we all know, just because a student is not verbal does not mean that they can't or don't want to or should not have the right to communicate. So this is something that I made in just about 5 minutes on my PC. You create the overlay through boardmakeronline.com, and then you download it or transfer it, however you want to think of it, to your app. So if you go back, you'll see all other things that I've either created myself or downloaded onto my Boardmaker Online. So you just click it, and then you're ready to go.
I want the diamond.
So I thought that was pretty cool. You could have it sitting up like that. This case has a feature where you can stand it up. You can kind of stand it up like, well, it's not really sturdy when you stand it up like this. This is probably the best way. Or you can also, it should turn over, and then you can use it as a slant board if that angle is better for your students. So I'm going to go ahead and try to open the puzzle really quickly off camera, and then we're going to go ahead and talk about some ways that you can use the puzzle in the activities that you might be doing. So if you're anything like me, you love Melissa and Doug. You probably have a ton of their products like I do. And their puzzles are some of the best that I've found. There we go. Took me a second. I don't know if you agree, but kids' stuff always comes wrapped in the most crazy amount of plastic. It takes a superhuman effort to get kids' toys unwrapped, but I have managed it. So as you can see, it's direct matching underneath. This would be good for my student who's working on object-to-object matching, object-to-picture matching. So we've got the colors and we've got the shapes. The reason why I decided to find icons that were just the shape outline with no color is because sometimes students can get fixated on the color, and instead of requesting I want circle or I want the circle or circle please, they'll say I want green because the color is all they notice. So I wanted to go ahead and do that to try to lessen any confusion. So
I want the heart.
I want the heart. I would have all the shapes. I would be holding all the shapes somewhere where they couldn't reach them, and they would have to ask me either verbally or via the device for the shape that they want. So for example,
I want the star.
They could request it by pressing the button. We could do hand over hand, or they could ask me verbally for the one they want. I give it to them, and then they place it in the puzzle. So we're working on requesting, vocabulary, taking turns, making sentences, and those pre-academic concepts of shapes and colors. So I'm really excited to bring this in tomorrow. I'm still got one more week of summer school, so it's Monday through Thursday. Hopefully I'll have a chance to use this puzzle and some of the other things that I showed you. Thank you for joining me for another haul on Communication for Life, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!